So our menu is broken into a few different sections. First section is called konong, which in Hmong literally translates as small bites or treats. Think of that as your little snacks.
Walking in, mac salad.
The next part is called Yia Vang, which literally translates as just us. It's made for two, think of it as appetizers.
Hey, let's get this out of here. Let's go.
Next section is zhao, which zhao is vegetables. Next section is ngai ti and ngai hao. Ngai ti is grilled meats, everything that's grilled off the grill.
Man, like that fat is just dripping down. Oh yeah.
The next one is ngai hao, which literally translates to braised meats. The next section is guo, which is hot sauce or pepper sauce. And then the section after that is ma. And so we just say it's choose your own adventure.
More cabbage.
The whole point of this restaurant is if you come here once a week, every week you come here, you're gonna have a different adventure.
More. Okay, chefs, here we go.
First thing we do in the morning, 8 a.m., we unload the peppers from my truck. This morning, I went out to my mom and dad's farm. They harvest everything. They don't ask for a dime, and that's their way of saying we love to contribute into what you're doing.
All these banana peppers will go in our Happy Tiger sauce. We'll roast them off, and then we blitz it up with some charred pineapples and some jalapenos. So we're gonna get this lit up. All those peppers, we gotta get them roasting at the start of our day here.
Cooking over fire is Hmong cooking because it's the most primitive, primal thing that our people have done for thousands and thousands of years in the mountains. And we're able to do it right here. The ability to burn wood down to this perfect ember where you're using that heat and that smoke to add the flavors into your ingredients, like that is Hmong cooking at its core.
Once this gets going, we have to get it rolling. So I have my... We used to just have a little fan, but then our arms got tired, and then now we got a big fan. This is definitely from the old country, the mountains of Laos. The Happy Tiger is a play off of, the crying tiger sauce. It's a Thai sauce, everyone uses it. We decided to do it this way because we're like, why are you crying? We should be happy.
And then once we get that roasted, what we do is then we get the pineapples, we break them down, we season them with turmeric, salt, and pepper, and then we roast that up too. And you want to get it to the point where it's kind of, you feel like, am I overcooking this? Because you want all that beautiful sweet sugar to come out.
So with this Happy Tiger sauce, we recommend it with the pork chop. It's kind of like this idea of like pineapple pork chop, and then always get sticky rice. And then you take the fatty part of that pork chop, get it into the Happy Tiger, put it on the sticky rice, that you take a bite on it, and that's like the perfect bite, for me anyways. This will go for about 15-ish minutes. You want to get that nice char, and then you flip it. You want to make sure that all that sugar is cooked out, and then when you blitz it up, man, you get that sweetness, which balances well with that heat.
And then we, get all our herbs in, which is the cilantro and then lime juice. And then we kind of put it in a big bucket and we just, blitz it all up. And what you're looking for is this beautiful, delicious sauce that has smokiness to it. It has depth, but then it also has the sweetness of pineapple.
So now we're gonna get ready to prep the pork chops. They're the whole racks. We're gonna French them and double cut them.
So it comes with the whole loin, bone in and everything. So if we do everything right, we should get 5 portions out of this. The task here is you find this little notch where it's 2, and then you just go right in the middle, and then we just, cut it right down. What I love about this pork chop is you get that 3 cuts of meat, right? If you have 3 different kinds of people that's on your table here, you have that center cut, which is the lean cut. You got that belly right here, which is that fatty cut. And then you got the 2 baby back ribs in there. And the way we cut it and the way we present it, whatever cut you want, you can take it. And these things are about 2 pounds, so. It's a thick boy, we call it. The thick boy with 3 C's, thick boy. The reason why we do a double cut is because it's just gonna be able to hold that smoke flavor better. All of that juice, because it's so thick, it just stays right inside of it, and especially with the brining too, the brining process really helps. After this, we're just gonna put the brine on and then we let it sit for 24 hours. So with the brine, what we're doing is that we're just getting all that flavor into the meat, right? Because it's such a thick cut that if we just salt the outside, it's not gonna go right into it.
Basically, it's a 5-spice brine. Cinnamon, star anise, allspice. So this is done. We'll
put it in here for 24 hours, and after when we take it out, we just put it in vacuum seal bags just so that we can kind of store them a little easier.
So one of the big tasks for the day is deboning the chicken.
So this is the chicken. It's coming from the Mazzocchi with the grilled meats section of the menu, and this is probably one of the biggest tasks we do here. Murilo will go through, what, 3-4 boxes of these, and there's about 10 to 12 in a box. So that's how many he does a night just to break them down. And to break them down, you literally have to get all the bones out, but our boy here does it really fast. The chicken is from Bell & Evans. Bell & Evans, they're out of Pennsylvania, and it's an Amish chicken. So none of the chicken's ever frozen, or it's never injected with any water to give it plump. They harvest the chicken, they hang it, they air dry it, and it's just the best quality. Like, we've tried other chicken, it just doesn't work like this. And that's why it works so well in the way that we do the grilling process for it. As you can see, like, he's working so close right to the bone in the meat right there. And he does these little cuts right in the breast part, which I love, because when we marinate it, it goes right into those little sections.
I like to say that, like, all of our chefs, we all are interchangeable. Like, not one person does one job. It's very hard to find another Romero.
I have a long time in the kitchen, so I have a lot of experience with knives.
This will probably go on the grill like in the next 24 to 48 hours. So this is just the beginning process of it. So when Murilo's done with all 50 chickens, what we'll do is then he'll put the marinade right in between with the meat, throw a little salt on top, rack it up, let it sit and rest. Sometimes we'll let it sit and rest for like a whole nother day to make sure that that salt gets all that moisture out. And again, working on that skin. So next part here is we're gonna actually do the sofrito marinade. The sofrito is made out of lemongrass, ginger, garlic, shallots, Thai chilies, and little fish sauce. And then what we do is then we just cook it until it all comes together. You wanna really get into those crevices. That's why he was cutting those cuts like that. It opens it up. We don't want to hit the skin side, because what happens is, and when we grill it, it will actually burn and be bitter. So we're trying our best not to do it, and that's why, when we get ready and we sheet it up, they actually wipe it and make sure they get all that sofrito off of it. And then this will go in the walk-in for 24 hours. We let it rest, and then yeah, this will be tomorrow's.
So now we're gonna start the sea bream or dorade. It's an open butterfly. It's a unique cut. It cuts from the top, and we basically fillet it from the back spine bone and then get it ready to serve. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically butterfly from the back end, from the spine bone. We're gonna open up all the way up kind of to the neck, and then we're gonna cut it out so that way they both open completely butterflied. But you also have to cut it from the bottom so that they're not sticking up, but they lay down flat, so that when they hit the grill, it all gets cooked evenly.
The grilled fish dish coming from the section of the menu, the Mazzocchi, the grilled meats, was inspired when I had very blessed opportunity to be on Iron Chef. The Iron Chef I battled was Gabriela Camara, and she's an incredible chef. And I saw how she would do her fish, where they cut it and they butterflied it out, and they took that center bone out and just exposes the flesh. And then she had 2 different sauces, and she threw it over the grill. And it kind of represented this kind of fish that my dad would do, where we would get these lake fish, and he would just kind of split them open and put them on a little rack, and he put it over the fire. And it was kind of like, oh my gosh, that's such a great way to do fish.
The presentation is everything. A lot of people get weird about seeing this mouth, this whole fish, the eyes and everything. But for me, it shows that we're using a whole product. We're not, we're not hiding behind anything. This is the whole fish. The reason why we butterfly it is in order to, well, one, we have the 2 signature sauces, the Green Empress and the Red Dragon. So we want to highlight both those sauces. So now we're going to take the fish, and then we're going to dress each side of the fish with a sauce. And then we are going to line it in a grill basket. It's called the fish basket. 2 metal racks that basically fold down, and they go straight into the fire of the grill upstairs.
So Vinai is actually the name of the refugee camp that I was born in. My parents met there in '77, they got married in '78, and they were there for 10 years. And the story I want to talk about is my mom and dad's story. If I could explain their story and their love and their courage and tenacity into bringing us here, fighting a war. My father fought a war, brought us here, brought us to freedom, gave us a new future. How would I do it? And I'm a cook. And so the only way that I can do it is in the food that my father taught me, in the food that my mother taught me.
All right, this is the first step of our shrimp toast process. This is the filling that goes on top of the toast. What we have here, cilantro, green onion, shrimp, ground pork, salt, MSG, chicken powder, Thai chili, fish sauce, a little bit of sesame oil, and black pepper. What's most important is like the process of how you put it in. Lemongrass needs to go first because it needs to be broken down all the way. Otherwise, it's gonna taste kind of stringy. The shrimp is kind of, I feel like it's kind of the glue. It's kind of everything goes together. We're just mixing it with the ground pork now. We're gonna incorporate it into one giant meatball. So after this is all mixed up, and then we go grab our Texas toast and we basically ball it up to like 2-3 ounce balls, and then we put it on the toast, we spread it out, and then we basically let it rest for about an hour so it kind of molds with the toast, and then that's about ready for service. And then from service, you just drop it in the fryer.
So we got a boar leg here. So we Broken Arrow. They harvest boar in central Texas for us. They ship it up. So the reason why we're using boar for Hmong sausage is this is probably the closest we'll get to being able to replicate the first kind of Hmong sausage made in the mountains of Laos like 40, 50, 60 years ago. So what we're really doing is we're testing it out right now because it's going to be on our secret menu, which is going to be hidden under the big family table. And so we've never done it with boar before, and so this is kind of our first try at it.
On the bottom of the family table, kind of there's a little section, there's a little secret in there where there's a menu that's stuck in there, and that's the secret menu to the family table. And one of the things that we're dorking out with is making the wild boar Hmong sausage.
What Ramiro will do is he'll break it down. After he breaks it down, what we'll do is then we'll add a little bit of belly into it too, just to give it fat content, because sometimes boar is super lean. As you can tell, look how lean it is. It almost looks like venison. We'll take all that meat and just chunk it up. We'll put it in the grinder, grind it, and then mix it with the sofrito, some fish sauce, chili peppers, and that's basically what Hmong sausage is. So he's gonna come in smaller pieces, and then we're gonna just throw a little bit of the sofrito in to get that flavor, and then we actually don't case it. We make it into like little patties, and we'll just throw it right over the grill. That's the way my dad told me that's how they did it in the mountains. You get a little sticky rice, you can just eat it with it. And so we're just gonna keep it real simple like that.
So Hmong food is meat and potatoes. That's Midwest food, right? But we just have meat and rice, right? So the four things you come here and you find on the menu is there's a protein, there's a rice, there's a vegetable, and there's a sauce. That is Midwest food at its core.
We are back on all our wines. We got the dry Riesling back in.
Chef, do you know anything about the kitchen by chance?
Well, we should be good going and everything. We got all our meat delivery today and everything, so we're rocking on everything. 1, 2, hey!
Now we're gonna do the boar sausage. This is actually very exciting. We just started this. It's not even on the menu yet. Traditional way of doing sausage without casing. Just ball it up. A lot of Thai chili, a lot of lemongrass, garlic, ginger, fish sauce, of course. And this is just like, it just tastes like my childhood, so it's really exciting. Here we go.
I think one of the things that's super cool is watching my dad make this at home, and then I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, that's what we did. If we were out hunting, you quickly just make a little fire, and then you would have like a little rack like this with you, and you just kind of have the minced meat and put it all together, and this is what you do. People think sausage, they think in a casing, in a tubular form, but sausage is actually the meat inside, because it's what's on the inside that counts, not about the outside. We're an hour out from service right now, and now we're gonna start marking off and searing off all our proteins that we need to do. So these are the pork chops that were brined for 24 hours. Now we're just gonna put it out on our sheet tray, and then we're gonna salt and pepper it up, and then throw it on. And this is my favorite part, is that sound of like the first time the meat hits the hot iron. Oh yeah, that's the stuff Papa likes. This probably take like 5-6 minutes. We're not cooking it all the way through. It's so thick that to cook it all the way through, you're gonna end up burning everything. We'll actually put it in the oven for a little bit, just so that you can get that internal temp perfectly where we want it. And then we'll leave them up on top here. As it drips down, the smoke is gonna hit it.
That smoke kisses that pork. And then all you wanna do is you want to back up and let them have the room, if you know what I mean, because that is actually where the flavor comes from. It's because of that fat drips, hits the ember, the kiss comes up, kisses the meat, and then that is that flavor where it's like you can't emulate that. There's no seasoning for that. There's no sauce for that. And that's why we keep our pork chop very simple and it's so delicious.
Chefs, doors.
Okay, chefs, here we go. Chefs, walking in, curry rice ball, melon, shrimp toast. Walking in, steak, Krabby fried rice with duck egg. Get more on there, okay? Bro, we got a lot of steak coming in, man. Yep, this is table 6 right now, I'm putting up. 802, walking in, solo. We're halfway through service, everything looks great. Everyone's getting their food, everyone's happy out there, you're hearing all the noise out there.
So when the guest comes in, we always say, Vinai is a place of restoration. So we want you to come in and rest. If it's 45 minutes you're spending with us and saying, hey, our sitter only can do 45 minutes, we gotta roll back. For that 45 minutes, we want you to be restored.
Send this out, walking in 802.
We firmly believe that every dish has a story, and if you follow that story, you get to this table, and when you're at this table, it's actually not about food, it's about people.
Let's go, chefs.
When we think of Hmong food, if you want to know our people, you have to know our food. And by knowing our food, what you see is our cultural DNA is intricately woven into the foods that we eat. It tells our story of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going.